Another factor that the study didn't necessarily look at is that babies are born much healthier these days. Rubino hopes his findings further support surgery as a more mainstream solution for obese patients. Options are also being explored for overweight patients as well.
Many studies, this one had some drawbacks. First of all, it looked at mostly white healthcare professionals, so the findings could be limited to that.
One of the big challenges for some older adults who may lose their vision later in life is that they might not have the same tactile senses where they can really feel the Braille embossment.
If you haven't done the math, that's 10 different fat burning and conditioning exercises. Once you've done the first round, you've got 2 more in store to really get that metabolic rate going. Kelly and Fred Wang are getting ready for the birth of their second child, and they're hoping it won't take as long as baby number 1.
I was induced, I think, at 10 p.m. at night. Around 2 a.m. I was in so much pain. I was thinking, oh my God, how can anyone sleep? So they gave me an epidural, and then that was great. And then I was in labor all day until, what do you think, like 8 p.m. And then I pushed for 2 hours, and then baby wouldn't come, and then I went to an emergency C-section.
That's more than 24 hours of labor, and probably far longer than generations of women that came before her had to endure. National Institutes of Health researchers say on average, childbirth takes about 2 hours longer than it did 50 years ago. They say that's in large part because interventions like pain-killing epidurals are far more common. No one likes to wait, especially when you're expecting a 6 to 10 pound baby to come out of you, but some doctors say longer doesn't necessarily mean worse.
We're comparing what happened in 1950s and 60s to what's happening now. Back in the old days, they used to give people nitrogen and everything and pull the baby out by forceps. The way we were delivering before was terrible. Women didn't even know they had babies. They woke up, they were in a gas state. Their babies had marks all over the face from using forceps. I'd rather there be 2 hours more and have the patient involved and even do it naturally than the way it was done before.
While a lot of expectant moms might wince at the idea of a longer delivery, another factor that the study didn't necessarily look at is that babies are born much healthier these days.
The babies are bigger. Much bigger from the 50s and 60s where people were drinking and smoking when they were pregnant. It's harder to get a bigger baby out.
Bottom line, while a mom in labor may want that baby out now, practices deemed safer today and improved outcomes for mother and child may be worth the wait. Kafi Drexel, New York 1. A survey from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics shows less than 1 in 6 Americans are regularly washing reusable food totes. Experts say that means in addition to your groceries, you might also be loading up on your risk for a foodborne disease.
I think a lot of people are trying to be mindful and eco-friendly by using their totes, and they're not realizing that a lot of cross-contamination with the foods that they're buying is actually happening directly because of the totes and the canvas material that they're made from.
48 million Americans are affected by food poisoning each year because of harmful pathogens like salmonella and E. coli. Unwashed grocery bags can harbor cross-contamination in many forms.
One is as simple as just setting your bag down on the floor or on dirty countertops. Also, when you think about perishable goods, they sweat, especially in the heat or in the summertime when you're transporting your groceries. So the sweat from the dairy products or eggs as well as meats, especially raw meats, is highly contaminable.
There's some simple ways to help keep bacteria at bay, including frequently washing grocery totes with hot soapy water, cleaning all surfaces where you put your bags like the kitchen counter, storing totes in a clean, dry area, and wrapping raw meats and fish in plastic bags before placing them with other groceries, or even using completely separate bags to hold raw meats and fish only.
If you're anything like me, you've probably been given so many of these things that you don't know what to do with them, and they're probably bulging out of your cabinets. Well, here's a tip. Don't throw them out. Organize them and use them to rotate in and out so that you don't have to wait to use them again before your next load of laundry.
Bags with plastic coating can also be wiped down with antibacterial spray. For more tips, you can visit www.homefoodsafety.org. Kafi Drexel, New York 1. Michael Cush was born with vision loss and learned Braille when he was a child, but he hardly uses it now.
It's just not practical in my day-to-day life, mainly because it's very laborious and expensive to produce, and also it's not very portable.
About 90% of the visually impaired can't read or write Braille at all. In addition to Cush's rationale, the reasons vary, from advances in voice technology to more Americans losing their sight later in life. The six-dot system was created by blind Frenchman Louis Braille in 1825. And while she supports new technology, instructors like Audrey Shading at the Jewish Guild for the Blind say Braille should never be replaced. Her opinion, not knowing it is akin to being illiterate.
Some people really learn it and then they choose to use it a lot. Some people use it they don't use it as much. They choose, but at least they have had the opportunity and the chance. To deny anyone that really hurts my soul.
Her students say knowing the skill is crucial to leading independent lives.
It's important for me to be here to learn Braille, to be able to talk to people, to communicate, to be able to read my Bible, because it's a challenge. When I go to church, they give a verse, I can't read it.
One of the big challenges for some older adults who may lose their vision later in life is that they might not have the same tactile senses where they can really feel the Braille embossments. Well, a simple solution here is switching from paper to plastic like this that can make a difference.
Equipment like Braille note takers and other practice tools also help, and in some cases, smartphone displays similar to this are also available, showing how electronic advances in Braille can work together instead of canceling one another out. Shading says efforts are ongoing with entities like New York's Commission for the Blind to make access to Braille more affordable. The Guild is also working with colleges and universities to make sure more people are trained to teach it. In Manhattan, Kafi Drexel, New York 1. It's a workout that sounds a little bit like a military alert, but the only thing Metcon 3 is meant to trigger is your metabolism. The metabolic conditioning class, created by experts at Equinox Fitness Clubs, is designed to send your calorie burn into overdrive.
This workout is really geared for revving up your metabolism, literally attempting to turn your body into a fat incinerator. What it does is it targets the body's three main energy systems: the high energy phosphate system, the glycolytic system, the oxidative system, which are always in play when you're working out. It's just a question as to what capacity. So in this workout, we try to really maximize your caloric expenditure by putting you in a high energy type environment.
Over a period of 10 minutes, you run through different cardio and strength training exercises for a minute each. If you haven't done the math, that's 10 different fat burning and conditioning exercises. Once you've done the first round, you've got 2 more in store to really get that metabolic rate going.
In Metcon 3, you're doing pulling motions, and then you're doing pushing motions, and then you're doing a cardiovascular power drill, and then you're doing a multi-joint drill. So although you're constantly working at a high intensity, you're working different muscle groups at different times. It literally puts you in a state of what we call EPOC, which is exercise post-oxygen consumption. And basically that just means that after the workout, when you're at rest, you're using more oxygen than you really need to at rest. So basically you're able to go back to work, but your body still thinks you're at the gym.
So in this case, you can just think of all the calories you can lose as a different form of overtime pay. In Manhattan, Kafi Drexel, New York 1.